please like and subscribe.
That's weird. I can't hear the
Dancey
music this
dance.
time. So
Yeah.
I know what Holly's thinking. So the good. We'll go straight into it. So there is this little project, I don't know, a year ago, maybe even longer than a year ago, that I was fully behind, that I actually put money into, still always liked them. And then because of so much other noise, kind of didn't realize that I wasn't hearing anything from them for a while. Did a little bit more research. They were still around, couldn't hear anything. And all of a sudden this week, somebody went and bought 70 B&B worth of them and their price jumped up like 38%. And that project is Nobility. So
Yes.
they've kind of been off social media. They actually have been working behind the scenes. From what I see, they've got some releases coming out, and they think, and I think this is a good learning point for a lot of people, is the fact that if you're not emotionally just glued to the charts, that would have been one I probably would have sold, but held tight. And I think their future is very bright. If the products come out that I'm reading
Yeah.
about, different games, different things that they're backing, different things that they are affiliated with behind the scenes,
Yeah.
then kudos. This could be one of those sleepers that people didn't realize was what it is. And
Esports, man. I mean, that's a big
Yeah.
thing. Getting bigger.
You,
all the
you
time.
know, fun fact is I actually held Nobility for a really long time at the very beginning. And then, like you said, everything kind of went dark, right? And so I didn't know where it was going. The chart was going down. And it was just one of those things that I was like, I don't know if this is even a thing anymore. And so I sold what I could at the time. I kicked myself for that because, but I honestly didn't know. I honestly didn't. I thought it was done. I thought it was
Yep.
done for. Yeah, but it was at the very beginning of Nobility, and I want to say it's been about 2 years now.
has it?
Yes.
It was right about the
Yeah.
time that we started doing this. So, and we're like you. We got in the beginning. You know, sometimes you get lucky in investments too, right? Because I'm not going to sit here and lie to people and say I knew this was going to happen, blah blah blah. But there was a time in there. I actually still invested in other projects where it's not worth selling, right?
Right.
And you just kind of cross your fingers and go, maybe it'll come back. And this one, it never left. Okay, like they were still working, but I feel like it was a resurgence with it,
Yeah.
and I'm super excited about it because they do a lot of things that I'm really into, Greg's really into, Caleb's really into, and that's really cool. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. But this week I figured that had to be the good.
That's a good one. I like that. Good.
Yep. That is good.
And we haven't talked about them in probably over a year, I would guess. So
Well, they went dark. I mean,
I know
just-
they did, and they even
Yeah.
admitted it. They admitted they went dark. Like, hey, we just needed to kind of kill social media presence and get back to the grind, and here we are. And now we got this stuff coming out, and it seems if I keep saying stuff because I can't remember what it was called, but I believe they have it like their first like real game coming out, which is yeah. What is it?
Oh, I don't know what it's called.
Oh, gotcha.
real
I thought
game.
you said
They have like a mini game on their website, but that's not what you're talking about.
no. I can't remember the release on it, and if I try to look it up right now, my internet's probably not strong enough to be on this podcast and look it up at the same time. So, so let's go to the bad. And Holly, I'm going to lean on you a little bit for this and paraphrase this by saying that even though we're listing this as the bad, that we're hoping that the outcome of this becomes something that we can talk about as the good. And that would be Flare Token.
Yes.
So do you want to kind of go into detail on that?
Sure. So sometime this week, again, feels like it's been a month.
It really does.
One of the community members actually was able to go on to hold, please. Sorry. Let me. I just want to bring you facts. So
Hold, please.
hold, please. So he was able to find on Pacer Monitor, court proceedings between Glow Token LLC, which is, they own Flare, and Crypto.com. So they are going after Crypto.com. From what I read, it was like 13 pages, for, the listing amount was $250,000. So what had happened is somebody either posed as an employee or was an employee. That has been yet to be decided. Gave them information on where to send the $250,000 for the listing fee. And so they sent it to them, and that person or employee took the money and ran. And so I don't know if everybody knows, but the majority of that listing fee came from Flare tokens pre-sale. And so basically what this means is, for the people who bought into pre-sale, we got to cross our fingers and hope that they win this lawsuit against CDC. I do know that they are going after them not only for the listing price, but, damages and, it's just kind of pain and suffering kind of thing. But they, this probably has damaged their reputation to some degree, damaged their chart to some degree. And so they are going to go after them for the listing and that. So it's going to be a while.
Oh yeah.
One way or another, it'll be resolved. We're hoping it's going to be in all of our favor, just because a lot of us invested money into this pre-sale. But like most court hearings and proceedings, they take a long time. And when you're going against a company as big as CDC, it's going to be a while. Especially if CDC doesn't feel like they were the ones in the wrong, and that if it wasn't their employee, I can't imagine they'd be willing to say, oh, here's all this money because you got scammed. So this is going to be a good one to watch, I guess, to get your popcorn and let's see how this is going to go down. But I feel for the people, especially, who have invested. I do know that, somebody personally that put in $25,000 and that's just gone. So
yeah, for now, because we don't know how that'll turn out. But you're not wrong.
Right.
This is something that is going to take a while to figure out. It's not something that's going to be figured out by Monday, obviously. But I guess if there is good to it, there is a chance that it comes back around, and
exactly,
we will get to see, because it will be public record at some point, unless it settles. We will be able to figure out exactly what happened. So
exactly,
and then
the
learn
thing
from
is,
it.
that's what I was just going to say. Like, that's the flip side, because I think that this has happened to many people, not just on, this exchange, but other exchanges. This has happened. And, you don't have the money to fight them, right? And so if, Glow must think that they have some kind of upper hand in this, because why would they not waste, but spend the money to fight somebody as big as CDC.
Yeah, you don't do that unless you think you're going to win.
And maybe, if something comes out of it, maybe it's they put stronger, not regulation, but stronger there's a word I'm looking for. Procedures, I guess, of how they go about listings. So that doesn't happen to additional people.
Yeah.
Or projects or businesses. So
yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. And nobody's going to really, there's only a couple people that know exactly what happened. There's speculation out there. We're not going to get into that. Honestly, our goal is that they come out of this with their reputation intact, but more importantly, that the people that are invested come out whole. That's what we're rooting for.
That's really ultimately, when it's all said and done, that is not even, I don't even care about myself. But everybody else who have, sent money for this pre-sale, I want them to be made whole more than anybody else. So hopefully
We say it
this,
all the time, right? We want everyone to win, and it just goes right along with that too. Just if everybody can get
Exactly.
whole again, then we'll be happy.
Yes.
So, and before we move on, I wanted to say that the name of the game that Nobility is releasing is called Rio. Just so,
Rio.
just so
Oh.
it's out there. Okay. I don't know much about it. I just know it's coming out, and they've actually been fairly active on social media. It looks like since basically the 1st of August. So I expect big things to come out of that. Just to backtrack just a little bit. So the ugly. We're not going to spend much time on this. I've got a little bit of percents and pictures here. The whole market is, it's Thursday, by the way. The whole market has crashed, right? So I'm looking at this Doge down 14%, Bitcoin down 8%, Ethereum down 10%, SHIB down 15%, Ethereum Classic down 15%, on and on and on and on and on. Okay, I mean, like everything is in the red if you can see that. Okay, so here's the deal, and that's all I'm going to say about it. Really, is yes, it sucks. It's being fueled by a rate hike that's coming out with the Fed. People are scared. Interest rates keep climbing higher and higher. I know there are a lot of people out there that I know of that are buying homes. They're getting their loans at like 7% now, whereas like 2-3 years ago you could have got it in the threes. And it's kind of pushing people into that housing market because they want to get it before it gets into the double digits, which is
Right.
what I keep seeing as they're expecting. They're looking at interest rates to get to where they were in the 80s when, like, my parents bought a home and they paid 18% for it.
Yikes.
So we'll see if that's what happens. I still think I shouldn't say it that way. My belief is that just makes what we have a longer hold. Election year is coming up. Things happen in election years. Usually
Yeah.
you see a little bit of an uptick. For whatever reason, I'm not going to get into the reasons why, at least the reasons why I believe that happens. But it is something to keep an eye on. It is something that I'm looking at. Just for me personally, there may be some great buy-in opportunities out there. I know Caleb's not here today, and we'll get into that just here in a second at Caleb's Choice. But I was just talking to Caleb yesterday. I was like, we've never pushed anybody into buying a certain token. People ask us questions. We give them honest answers. We let them make their decisions. Part of me kind of feels, though, that if some of those people that would have asked me like a year ago, I wish they were asking me today. You know what I mean? Because
Yep.
they could have bought things at not all-time lows, obviously, but they could have got into the market at a really, really good price. So we'll see how much further that goes. The market is the market, and it's ugly, and that's why it's the ugly today. So
I agree with that one. I agree.
I'm Caleb. Please like and subscribe.